Hello everyone. The examples of Belgium and Sri Lanka, they are the contrasting examples. We have read about the accommodation, that how it was done in Belgium by the Belgian leaders and how it was denied in Sri Lanka. The two examples tell us that power sharing is good because it brings stability to the government. As we have seen in Belgium, we discussed that the capital of Belgium, Brussels, that was chosen as to be the headquarter of the European Union when it was formed, being a very peaceful region. Whereas in Sri Lanka, because power sharing was not done, the country had to face the after effects of the civil war and the economic development, that excellent record that was shown by Sri Lanka, that was brought down. So these are the two contrasting examples, and the lesson that we get is that power sharing is good to establish peace and harmony in the country. If we want to have stability of the government, if we want that people should live in peace and harmony, then power sharing is required. It is essential. Whereas the contrasting example of Sri Lanka tells us that if power sharing is denied, if a particular community in a country is made to feel, is forced to feel alienated, and they are disregarded, their rights are disregarded, their demands are not at all taken care of, it will bring bad results. That will not be good for the unity of the country. In fact, it will undermine the unity of the country. And if power sharing is done, it will infuse unity of among the people, and it will create unity in the country. So these are the two lessons that we get from the story of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Then another topic will be why power sharing is desirable. A bit portion we have read in the previous lectures that power sharing is good. Just now I told you that power sharing is good to have political stability. Power sharing is also good to have peace and harmony between the people, and it brings good results. So the question arises again, why is power sharing desirable? It is your 3 marks topic in board examination. So to learn about why power sharing is desirable, we divide the topic into 2 parts: prudential reasons and moral reason. There are certain prudential reasons that why power sharing is desirable. Give the example of Belgium, give the contrasting example of Sri Lanka, that power sharing brings good results. If power sharing is done, clarify your answer by again and again mentioning the example of Belgium, or you can also give the example of India, that power sharing brings political stability in the country, and power sharing is the best way to avoid any civil strife. Power sharing is the best way to make people aware that because of power sharing they belong to the same country, they are united together, and people are more united, they are more integrated in a country when there is power sharing, and no community is made to feel alienated in the country. Because as in the example of Sri Lanka we have seen, the rule of the majority community over the minority may look like a good option in a short run. In a short run, the majority community may feel good that how they are dominating the minorities and how they are forcing them to obey their rules and regulations, to accept whatever they are doing. It may look like a good option in a short run, but in long run, it not only brings ruin to the minority but majority as well. As we have seen in Sri Lanka, that minority suffered, Tamils suffered a lot, because everywhere there were Sinhalas, Sinhala applicants, Sinhalas everywhere. So they suffered a lot. And the end result was the civil war. But in the civil war, the people from both the communities, they were killed, they suffered. And I told you in yesterday's lecture that civil war brought the development down. It destroyed the economy of the country. Moreover, when the war was there, when the civil war was there, we cannot say that only Tamils were killed or only Sinhalas were killed. Both the communities suffered. So majority rule may look like a good option in a short run, but in long run it obviously bring ruin to the minority but majority as well. There is a line in your NCERT, further pages go through NCERT pages 4, 5 and 6. that the tyranny of the majority, tyranny, dictatorship, one man rule, Sinhalas, the tyranny of the majority may look like a good option in a short run, but in long run it not only ruins minority but majority as well. And mention Sinhalas and Tamils, they both suffered, and the Tamils were suffering for a long time after civil war, even Sinhalas, even after that, because I told you they became insurgents. They inhabited many areas in the country, in Sri Lanka, inhabited them and started establishing their own rules and regulations over there. So the country suffered a lot. So prudential reason means that power sharing will bring good results. Prudential reasons means that if power sharing is done, it will bring political stability to the country, and also it will allow people to belong to the same country, as we have seen in Belgium. Today the people of Belgium are not Dutch speaking, French speaking or German speaking. They all are Belgians, and they share a common history, they share a common culture. And community government tells us that no community is felt to be alienated in the country. No community feels that they are alienated or they are disregarded, whereas in Sri Lanka it was there. So these are together called prudential reasons. Whereas the second set of reason is concerned, that is the moral reason for power sharing. In fact, in a democracy, people are to be consulted on how they are wishing to be governed, or whom they want that they should be governed by a particular party, or they should be governed by a particular government. So moral reason, actually it is a deeper reason for power sharing, because it comes from the conscience of the administrators, of the rulers, that if they really want to have a good rule, as much power should be shared with the people, because people should have a stake in the decision making in a democracy. So morally it applies on the rulers, it applies on the administrators, that they should share power with the people on whom they are ruling. Correct? So it is a very spirit of democracy. It is a very spirit of democracy, power sharing, and it comes from the conscience of the rulers, from the conscience of the representatives, that we are governing the country only because of the people, because they have voted for us. So it is their, morally it is their responsibility that they should include people wherever they are needed, and there should be consent of the people. So the second set of reason, that is moral reason, is a deeper reason and a very important reason for power sharing. So that is why power sharing is desirable. This desirability was taken care of in Belgium, as we have seen that in Belgium, the Belgian leaders, they amended their constitution 4 times. Constitution was amended 4 times, and 4th time they came to know that now everything is fine and we can apply the accommodation or power sharing in the country. Whereas this was not realized by the majority party, that is Sinhalas in Sri Lanka. It was not realized. The desirability of power sharing was not realized. So like this we can divide it, desirability of power sharing, between the prudential reasons I told you, which means that power sharing will bring good results, better results, as in Belgium. Whereas moral reason is concerned, that is a deeper reason, that power sharing is must, that it should come from the conscience of the rulers, that as much power should be shared with the people. Wherever people's consent are needed, people consent is needed, they should be included in that. So that is moral reason for power sharing. So that was about desirability of power sharing. Our next topic is focused on what are the different forms of power sharing. Actually, in today's countries, in democracies, power sharing can take various forms. Means in various ways, power, administrative power we are talking of, administrative power can be shared in different ways. You can have the example of India, or you can have the example of Belgium. India and Belgium both are federal countries, and in both the countries there is power sharing, and these power sharing it can take various forms. For example, if you take the example of India, because we are citizens of India, we know better about it, because practically we are experiencing all these things. So there is power sharing between the organs of the government, because there is, in your 9th class you have read about the organs of the government, this legislature, executive and judiciary. So there is power sharing, the three levels of the government, the three organs of the government better. The three organs, they share power, and they make a balance of power, and check and balance is there. In India, we also see a federal structure. There is a central government, one government for the whole country. Then there are state government. In each state there is a government, and then further there are local bodies, municipalities and panchayats. So the different levels of the government, they share power. Then we also come through that in India there are reserved constituencies, about which you have read in detail in class 9th. Reserved constituencies, women, so-called SC, ST, OBCs, they also share power. And finally, political parties share power, and there are certain pressure groups and movement groups in each country, like in India, they share power in the government bodies. So you prepare your notes up to the prudential and moral reason. We will meet again with a new lecture with the different forms of power sharing. We will continue to give the example, to have the examples of Belgium, Sri Lanka and India, and we will discuss about in how in federal countries power is shared. Till then, it is a very goodbye from me.